You ready to get into it?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is the memory or moment you would like to share with us today?
So I've been with my partner Colton, since our junior year of high school.
Hmm.
And he and I were very much into music together.
Hmm.
And one of the songs that we vibed over is this one.
All right.
We weren't dating just yet. We were still hanging out, still talking, still feeling all the feelings
All
without
right.
actually vocalizing what they were.
All
And
right.
this song was kind of our bridge of getting
Got
those
you.
feelings out there.
Got you. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna. All right. So let's dive into kind of like how you guys met, how it got to where it got. So, like you said, you guys met in high school, but was it like the same class, or was it like a love at first sight thing, or like? Oh,
So I am originally from New Jersey.
uh
He
huh.
is from Massachusetts.
Okay.
His mother was a corporate flight attendant, I believe, and at the time that we met was very, I am very grateful.
Hmm.
So the high school we went to is an academic. We absorb other people from different cities kind of
Hmm.
school. I got lucky that the 2 days before school was ready to go, I got accepted.
Oh,
Now,
nice.
I hate the school for that because I was supposed to be
Oh.
accepted sooner, but whatever. uh, so yeah, so I got accepted 2 days before school starts, and he got accepted to a bunch of different schools, but chose this one.
Hmm.
So we met freshman year in English and didn't talk.
At all.
Nope. Not because I don't know. I was very awkward, and he was a different type of awkward. So
Right.
our awkwards didn't mesh right away. And
But was there
then,
like a crush already, or it just wasn't?
not on my part. I gotta
Okay.
ask him how he felt when he first saw me.
Okay.
But yeah, I started dating this other guy,
Hmm.
and he was super sweet. We met in my home. What is that, homeroom? We met
Homeroom.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
homeroom.
Yeah.
Started dating for a month. Didn't work out. Cool.
Uh-huh.
Started dating another guy.
Uh-huh. Didn't work out.
So this one, I loved him so much, but he was
Hmm.
not right for me.
Got you.
But around the time that he and I started dating, me and Colton started noticing each other more, talking more in class. And so one day in the hallway, it was very crowded, and Colton's very quiet. I'm
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
So I saw him in the hallway, and I was like, Colton! And he looked and looked around and was like,
It's like, what is wrong with you?
yes. It's like, that was for me. You sure? Okay, hello. So that was probably one of the first few moments that I recognized that I liked him, but I was in a relationship. So I was like, okay, I gotta be focused on the person I'm with, not
Right.
on Cole. Um, but that sparked our best friendship.
So that's the
After
start of the
that,
friendship.
yeah, after that, we
Gotcha.
started hanging out more, going on our free periods, going to lunch, hanging out a little bit more, and getting a little more intimate with like our conversations, more so than just how was your day.
Right. Right. So you kind of like got more like serious topics and like, get to know each other more. Okay, cool. So now when did it escalate per se?
Whew. Okay, so that was probably October. Um, we started. I want to say that we didn't vocalize again that we liked
Hmm.
each other very much um, until the summer of freshman year, going into sophomore year. My ex and I, his home situation wasn't a good one, so my
Hmm.
parents took him in. But my parents didn't like the fact that we were dating. He's a boy, I'm a girl. The
Okay.
whole high school
We're
thing.
gonna we're gonna go into that, but I'll let you finish.
So he and I got into a fight, and he was
Hmm.
like, "Why don't you ask out Colton?" And I was like, "Fuck it, I will." So I
Right.
did. I texted Colton. I was like, "Hey, would you want to start dating?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, I didn't think he liked me. Not like that.
Oh, so you're just doing it as like a revenge or just like stick it to your
It
current
was in
boyfriend?
a very bad place, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I didn't think he liked me. I didn't think he would say yes. So I was like, oh, there's no harm, no foul. He said yes. And I was like, oh, crap. Okay, now I have a real situation on my hand where I have to figure out what's going on with boyfriend A and
Right.
uh figure out like, okay, where am I in Colton's relationship? Like, where are
Hmm.
we?
Hmm.
Freshman year, going into
Hmm.
sophomore year. So
This is
after
high school, right?
this is high school.
Right.
Yep, we are 14 years old, really
Uh-huh.
dumb, really,
Uh-huh.
really vulnerable and everything. So I was like, you know what? This isn't the right time. Let's still continue to be friends and hang out more so this summer or next,
Hmm.
fall. So I was like, yeah, I understand. So we went out and broke up within a week because
Wow.
I wasn't aware how he actually felt for me
Right. So I don't know
until,
if you know, did you know how he took it? Like, was it like a
oh yeah, we've talked about it.
devastating week for him, or it's just like, all
No.
right,
So when we talked about it, he was one very confused as to why I asked him out in the first place because he didn't think that I liked him.
all right.
So I was like, well, we were both in the same boat, not recognizing our actual feelings just yet. But then two, he was understanding because there was so much going on in my life that he knew my ex and he knew how much of an asshole he was to me,
Hmm.
even more so than I actually knew about it. So I was like,
Got you.
okay,
Okay.
like, I appreciate the mutual understanding for not the right place, not the right mind kind of situation.
Got you. Got you. All right. So I said we're gonna talk about it a little bit. It's not usual. Let's put it this way. It's not usual for high schoolers to be living essentially with a
Yeah.
significant other. So how did that happen? How did your parents? First of all, your parents allowed it, right? They're okay with it.
Okay.
So how did that
Okay,
go?
it's a very loose term.
Okay.
Um, so my ex and I started dating October 2008. And then throughout all of freshman year was an on again, off again kind of situation. He's originally from New York and we
Hmm.
met in New Jersey. Went to school in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Um, Parents are separated. Was living with
Hmm.
dad in New Jersey. Mom lived in New York. He got into a lot of trouble, like
Legally?
borderline, borderline
Okay.
getting there.
Got you. Got you.
A
Okay.
lot of trouble in school. Wasn't really focused in school. He was, to my knowledge, was in a gang, but not in a gang because then, like, there's a lot of weird shnikes with that.
Right. Hmm.
I didn't grow up around people like that, so of
Right.
course attracted to it.
Right. Right.
So his dad, middle of the school year, was fed up with him, sent him back to New York with mom. He wanted to finish out his 4 years in New Jersey. So I went to my parents and I begged and I cried and I pleaded, can he come stay here just to finish school? Bruh. May of 2000 and I think 8. No, 2009.
Hmm.
May of 2009 to June 2009. He lived with me. Then he got kicked back out. Yeah.
He got kicked out.
Yeah, my dad was not having it.
He's not having it.
He listened to my mom for the first month and was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then teenagers do teenager things.
Right.
And
Right.
my dad found out and he was like, nope,
Yeah.
he's out.
Yeah.
So,
Got you.
yeah.
So after that whole experience, is it now you and Colton, like you and your partner, or how do you guys get to officially we're dating?
So sophomore year,
Hmm.
I was still kind of in like trying to figure out what me and X were doing.
Hmm.
Now that he's in New York, a lot of emotional trauma with that one. But I still have love for him as a person. We throughout this time we have grown to like communicate a little bit better. Just we are
Right.
not meant for each other.
All right. Which is understandable.
Yeah.
Right.
And so sophomore year, I was like, I'm just gonna focus on me. I'm not gonna date, right? But I like Colin. And I like this girl Brianna.
Mm-hmm.
I had the brightest idea in, I think it was either October or November, to introduce Colton and Brianna because I wanted to have a good friend group.
Mm-hmm. Fucked up.
They started dating.
You fucked up.
Bruh. I was like, what? How did that happen?
It's hilarious.
Okay. All right. So they start dating. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, I said I wanted to focus on me, right? So
Uh-huh.
this is what we're doing. We're focusing on me this year.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship was a little rocky as well. She did not allow for him to talk to me. So most of sophomore year, he and I couldn't even be friends. Yeah.
So was she aware of that connection you guys had,
Oh, yeah.
or
And she was
okay,
aware of the connection that she and I had because she also reciprocated feelings for me too.
got
But
you.
they started dating. And so she was more controlling of him than I think anyone would ever be of anyone. Um, and I didn't recognize it right away. I just thought that he wanted space from me because of the shit that I pulled over the summer. And I was
Mm.
like, I deserve it. Cool. Then they break up, I want to say going into junior year. So they break up and he and I start talking again. And junior year, so freshman, sophomore, and junior year, we shared English. But junior year, we also shared physics as a class. And so every morning for physics, when he would walk in and I'm sitting, he would come kiss me on my forehead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, I love this man. He loves me. Oh my God.
So cute.
Shoot, I think I skipped a whole part. I had actually kissed him first before he started dating Brianna.
So I feel like it's just like mixed signals like all over, like
It's high
just
school, right?
right,
Like we are
right,
literally figuring it out
right.
minute by minute.
Okay.
Terrible. Yeah. So, and then I found out I was his first kiss. Did not know that.
Oh, so is even that more important?
Yes, very much.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So in junior year, when he's fresh out of that relationship, I jump into another one. Not with
You guys
him.
just can't get your timing right. Like, what's
Bro.
going on?
It's me. I'm the problem.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I got into a different relationship because I had a friend tell me that I wasn't allowed to date this person because they liked him. And I said, well, watch me. Worst decision. Worst decision. I didn't even know this guy. I barely tried to know this guy. And I was just like, hey, you want to go for a date? And then we wound up dating. Not to be like super sad or whatever. This guy does wind up raping me at some point in the relationship.
What?
And so I lived with a lot of guilt and shame with that because I was like, oh, I went into this relationship out of spite. I can't even talk to the friend that I loved dearly because I chose to spite them for one thing, right?
And it led to something completely right.
And like, in the moment I felt like I deserved it. No one ever deserves something like that to happen to them. And I had to go to therapy for that. But going back to Colton, he is my best friend at this time frame. The only one who's talking to me at this time frame. And it took me 2 months to admit to him. He was the first person I admitted about this situation that happened to me. So it took me 2 months still dating this guy because I'm just like, well, I called this upon myself.
All right, you still feel like it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I was like, I'll just live in it. I tell Colton, and he is the sweetest person to me. Like, he was like, all right, I'm sorry that happened to you, but we need to go tell an adult. We need to go tell somebody that this happened to you so that way you can get help because I was in a very fucked up stage. Like, mentally, it was like, I didn't give any shits about anything anymore. I stopped eating. I stopped caring about myself. I barely did my studies. And he noticed that. And so he took me to a guidance counselor. I sat with them. They called my parents. I go to a hospital, whole big thing. But his phone number, and to this day, I still remember that phone number. that was the phone number that I committed to memory so I could make a phone
You
call
can
and
call
tell
right
him.
away.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was April of 2011. I broke up with this guy. I'm in the hospital. I go do my stuff in the hospital. Start seeing therapy outside of the hospital. And in April, May, and June, Colton and I are talking a lot more. We're hanging out a lot more. And June 2011 is when he asked me out. So we did full on circus acts to get to this point.
I'm sitting here like, it's about fucking time.
Everyone was thinking that.